The tone of the election has changed quite a bit, and we're not hearing as much about business as we might have expected to in the run-up to the election. A lot about security, though. But having said that, there had been some attempts, it seemed, by the May administration to reach out to business a little bit more in the last few days, or the days at the end of last week. Is that something that businesses has seen happening? Are you hearing a more positive tone from the May government?
Well, we welcome that, and I think it has eased. It's improved in the last couple of days. But I do believe that this Conservative government is pro-business. I've witnessed that myself. I've worked closely with them. But I think some of the messaging in the manifesto was not as positive as it could have been here. So I think we're possibly talking about messaging in the manifesto and the substance of it. And I think I'm on record as saying that some of that messaging in the manifesto, the doubling of the immigration levy per head per year for employees coming in, employees we badly need, maybe some of the commentary around the Brexit negotiation in terms of the no deal, I think that was perhaps unhelpful.
So when you see when you hear more interventionist comments coming from Theresa May, do you take them at face value? She's somebody who says she doesn't think the government should step out of the way of business. The government should be a bit more meddling in in the relationship between business and society. Do you take that at face value, or do you think that's just for the voting booths and actually what she does is different?
Well, of course, there's a big difference between meddling and positive constructive intervention. And if that positive construction intervention is linked to what we call industrial strategy and the supportive environment that industrial strategy means, then of course, that is welcome, and the businesses I represent strongly welcome that. But of course, within that industrial strategy, you're looking for a number of pillars. The 10 pillars that have been published in the Green Paper are very, very positive. Let us bring those to life through the next government. Indeed, if it is a Conservative government, bring them to life, make them happen, and we in business will support that. And
I'll ask you about Labour and the other parties in just a moment, but just on the Conservative Party, they've talked about a new levy or increasing the immigration skills charge, so a levy on businesses that want to bring in migrant labour. You suggest there's no rationale for that. Well, surely the rationale is if you increase the charge, it encourages businesses to train rather than to import talent.
Well, not only do I applaud, but I strongly wish and push many of our businesses to train, not just young men and women come into our sector, of course, ongoing through life adult learning. It does take time, of course, to train people up, as you know, whether it be through apprenticeships, which we strongly support, or through university, indeed adult learning. I just think that the doubling of that charge on immigrant labour, some of which is badly needed for our economy, could have perhaps been better thought through.
And what about the Labour Party manifesto? Some of the policies you describe as quite sensible, though some you think from a bygone era, to use your phrase.
Yes, I think there's some positive elements there in terms of support for innovation, support for skills, things that we would welcome. But when you look at this in the round, this does hark back to, I think, the 70s and 80s. It is massive state intervention in terms of renationalisation, and I just wonder where, once you start the ball rolling on nationalisation, renationalisation, where that would take us. I think also we welcome working with our trade union colleagues, but of course we must not go back to the 70s and 80s, where much of our economy was bound by, perhaps over-influenced by trade unions. So yes, I stand by that comment. This Labour manifesto takes us back to a bygone age of the 70s and 80s.
Terry, thank you.